So how can a church like ours, and how can those of us, many of us live in predominantly Anglo neighborhoods. This is primarily a white audience that is listening to this morning. What can we do, and how can we begin to come together and to listen and to maybe see these kinds of issues from another perspective?
Yeah, we need to get closer to one another. And I'll give you a kind of a lighthearted, and I'm going to be really quick, but a lighthearted thing. My wife and I, when we first got married, she had a hairdo. Now, understand, I had more hair back then. I've only had 2 hairdos in my whole life, and so I didn't understand, the whole thing. And she asked me what it looked like. And we're early in our marriage, and I looked at it and I told her it looked like a poodle. Poodles are cute. I didn't know what the problem was. And she was clear, suffice it to say, it wasn't a good answer, and I understood that. And it took a while, and she started teaching me, because I was, I'm a direct kind of person, so I was a little curt, a little direct, and she kept telling me and exhorting me, you need to speak to me nicer, you need to have more tact. And I was thinking, what's the problem? Why are you saying it? You can talk to me the same way. I have no problem. But I wasn't looking at it from her perspective. And the more I stayed married, the more we walked together, the more I began to love her, the more I understood from her viewpoint. And then I started seeing how I was hurting her. And that hurt me. So it's important for us to, get enough relationship, and that's what we can do across race. Get true, abiding relationship, walk with people in love, see things from their perspective, and it changes how we speak to one another.
And you talk about natural relationships, natural friendships that come out of finding a common purpose or passion or desire to make a difference in the city of Dallas, and you find people across these divisions who share that same passion. And you don't necessarily force it, but you come together around those common causes so that over time you just realize, I'm beginning to see these struggles through a different viewpoint, and I'm not quite as quick to maybe defend my own or to try and to keep sort of seeing it the same way that I've always seen it.
That's right. It is important to just be with people, get closer. Find natural ways to get closer to someone. I have a friend that lives in the Park Cities. He's a member of the YMCA, but he works out in different YMCAs several times a week. He does the one here, but he goes to different ones. I think they're rebuilding the one here. And he does that on purpose, so he is around people who care about working out that look different than him, so we can have natural relationships. So there's just natural ways to come together. Please, we're family. Don't go looking for a black friend, okay? Just have a natural relationship, and it will grow into something.
One of the things that I have learned from you over the last week, just kind of listening and praying with and having these conversations with you, is the way that you keep calling us back to our truest selves as a Christian body. And how in the first century, when you look at the culture around Jesus, this was an unthinkably divided culture across people groups and races and nations, and that somehow the way that Jesus loved people and the people that he sent out to start the mission that became the church, against unthinkable odds, was able to bring a level of unity across these lines that the world had never seen before. It happened 2,000 years ago, and the church was at the very heart of that. And you have reminded me of that time and time again, and the promise that the Holy Spirit, the same Holy Spirit who did that, is still at work in the church. And it can happen here. It can happen in our city. It can happen in Baton Rouge, and in this country and around the world. And I'm so grateful to be learning from you and alongside you, and I'm excited about the conversations that we'll continue to have as a church and how we can respond, how we can be a part of what God is doing.